And then let your hands reach down to your side when you feel like you've gotten a nice shoulder opening. And just let your head, your chin tuck, your head hang heavy. And then begin to send your left cheek towards your left shoulder. Just a nice tap, nice and slow. And then looking down again, centering, and then taking it to the other side, right cheek tapping right shoulder. And then kind of rocking side to side like this, getting into the neck. And then you can begin to slowly even let the neck rock back a little bit, little throat opening here. Just taking some really nice gentle head rolls. You know the spots you might want to hang out in or hit again. So take your time, listen to your body, see what feels good. And then you can shake out the wrists a little bit. And when you feel nice and warmed up, if there's anything else you feel like you want to kind of open up with the shoulders, absolutely feel free. When you're ready, we'll meet in tabletop. Shoulders stacking over wrists, hips over knees. And take some time to take some arches and curls here. Inhale, let the belly drop, look up towards the sky. And on the exhale, curl the spine, chin tucks. Moving back and forth. Once again, instead of using the postures to move your breath, let the breath move the postures. That might mean you're moving a little bit slower through these postures. If your breath is nice and long and deep, maybe you're moving a little faster if your breath is a little bit more shallow. And then begin to let this become a little bit more authentic to you. Maybe the hips begin to kind of rock side to side. Maybe drawing some circles on the mat with your hips. Kind of pressing back and forth, almost like you're going to go into a child's. And then when you're ready, you can let your hips rest over your heels, find your child's pose. Letting your forehead find somewhere on the ground, whether that's your mat or a block or a blanket. Noticing your breath. Let yourself take a nice full breath here, maybe the biggest one you've taken today. And then begin to tent the fingers, provides a little bit more opening for the shoulders. And then begin to walk your fingers off the mat to the left side while sending your hips back into the right. So a little side opening. And then taking it to the other side on your own time, walking the fingers to the other side. And then just return to center, little reset in child's pose here. This is also one of those postures that you're always welcome to return to. It's kind of the home base. So if at any point in practice you find yourself craving this, please feel free to take it. And if you feel ready, you can push back up through your tabletop position, kind of shaking anything out you need to. And then let your left hand begin to reach up towards the sky, a little twist. It's the first twist, so don't worry about getting too far up there. Just let your spine warm up. Take a nice inhale. And then on the exhale, let your left hand thread underneath your body and through. You might even tap that left shoulder down. You can let the hips sink back a little bit to make room for yourself. Maybe it's not the left shoulder, maybe it's just the left elbow that taps. Wherever you feel a nice productive twist, just give yourself a couple of breaths here. One more round of breath. And then slowly coming out the way you went down, nice and slow, taking your time to extend that left arm back up, and then releasing it down. We'll take it to the other side when you feel ready, letting that right arm reach up. And then exhale, let it thread underneath your body, and then find somewhere to tap down that feels productive for you. Couple of breaths here. That is one of my favorite things about these classes with no music is your breath can be what you're paying attention to. That can be the main sound that kind of powers you through practice. So let one more big breath fill your lungs. Inhale and let it go. Next breath in, send your right arm back up towards the sky, kind of unfolding, and then exhale, let it tap back down. Awesome. Find your way onto your knees now. You might fold your yoga mat a little bit to provide a little bit of support for your knees. If that doesn't feel good, maybe a blanket or a block. And then let your left leg stamp out somewhere. It could just go exactly parallel to the body, nice and straight. If that doesn't feel good and the left hip is a little tight, you might let it come in front of you a little bit more, even bent. Somewhere out to the left side that feels good for you. Let your left hand rest on the outside of your left thigh. Take an inhale, let your right arm reach up. And on the exhale, reach over to the left side of the room. You might even let that right arm swing around a little bit. Provides a little bit of opportunity to see how the side body feels, how the right shoulder feels. Maybe it feels good to just stay still. Wherever you are, one more round of breath. And then keep your leg where it is. Let your hands stamp down like you're going to go back in table. And this time let your left arm reach up towards the sky. And then exhale, same thing, let it thread through and underneath. This time it might be just that elbow that taps down. Maybe it's the shoulder. Again, let your hips sink back to give yourself some space. Just one round of breath here. And then slowly unfold layer by layer. Left arm comes back up. You can stamp it down for table. The leg can come back in, and then you meet back on your knees when you feel ready. We'll take it to the other side, moving at your own pace, letting that right leg find somewhere comfortable out to the side. And then nice inhale, let the left arm reach up. Exhale, fold over the right side of the body. Same thing, opportunity here to kind of windmill that hand, see how it feels to get into the side body, the shoulder. And then let your hands stamp down like you're in table. Keep your right leg where it is. And when you feel ready, right arm can reach up. Inhale. And on the exhale, taps down somewhere underneath your body that feels productive for you. Maybe it's just the elbow. It's kind of the opposite twist action we got going on here. One nice breath. And then nice and slow, layer by layer, coming back out. And we can meet just in tabletop this time, evening out any mat or blankets you had. Just giving yourself a moment, once again, kind of shaking everything out. And then begin to find a neutral spine, like I could balance a glass of water on your low back and it wouldn't fall off. Begin to tuck the toes underneath, curl them, and then just lift the knees off the mat just by an inch or two. Little bear pose here. And then let the knees tap down. Big breath in. And then the next time you find your bear pose, lift your knees up off the mat once again. And this time you can send your hips up and back for a downward facing dog. First one of the class, so take your time. Pedal the feet out a little bit, bending each knee. You might shake the head no, shake it yes. Just seeing what feels good here. And then begin to shift back and forth from a plank to a down dog, helping to set up alignment, noticing the shoulders stacked over wrists. So you kind of flow back and forth just once or twice between each of these, noticing that core activation. Awesome. And then bend your knees. Inhale. Begin to walk your hands up to meet your feet. Hang in a little, or feet to walk to meet the hands. Hang in a little forward fold here. Let the neck be heavy. And then inhale, begin to drive through the heels, rise all the way up to stand. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up. And this time, let your left hand reach towards the front of the studio, right hand towards the back. Try to keep your hips facing forward, using ab work to kind of keep yourself facing forward here. And then let your right arm swoop underneath the left. You can bend the elbows. You might find a little bit of an eagle bind here with the hands reaching each other, maybe even interlacing the fingers. If not, you might just grab opposite shoulders. And then whatever bind you have, slowly begin to bend the knees, hinge at the hips, little forward fold. Just noticing how the forward fold feels a little different with this weight. And then you can begin to release the bind. Find a halfway lift. Inhale, hands to shin. Exhale, hands plant. Feet can step back for a plank. Let your knees tap down. The shoelace sides of the feet meet the mat. From the knees to the crown of the head is one straight line. Keeping your elbows into your sides, begin to lower all the way down to the mat. And then setting up for baby cobra here, keeping the hands where they are. Begin to drive into those feet, squeezing the glutes and lifting the chest and shoulders. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears, really using those upper and low back muscles. Inhale. And then on the exhale, press through your tabletop, curl your toes, and find your downward facing dog. So that's vinyasa option 1. You can always tap the knees down when I cue vinyasa. Inhale, bend the knees, and exhale, walk or float to the top of your mat. Hang here in a little forward fold for a second, just let something go. And then inhale, we'll stand all the way up again. Fill the lungs. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise up, and this time taking the twist to the other side, letting the right hand reach to the front of the studio, hips shining forward, using those abs, noticing those obliques that are engaged, and then letting that left hand swoop underneath the right, elbows touching. You might bend the elbows, maybe even interlacing the hands and the fingers. You might just grab opposite shoulders. Whatever kind of eagle bind you've got. Begin to hinge at the hips. Take a nice little forward fold and let this fold create extra weight for your upper back here. Noticing the neck, let it hang heavy. Like you're kind of just draping out of your hip sockets, like your laundry on a hanger. And then begin to unfold, let go of the bind, halfway lift, long spine. Inhale. And then exhale, hands plant, feet step back. You might tap the knees down like we did last time. You might not. Exhale lowers you down to the mat. And then inhale, you can either take that baby cobra again, or you can push up for up dog. Nice chest opener here, fill the lungs. And then on the exhale, you can curl the toes, find your downward facing dog. Again, inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, walk or float to the top of your mat, little forward fold. And then let yourself find a little bit of a chair pose. Knees stacked over ankles, hips sinking back. Your arms can be reaching out in front of you or just at your chest, whatever feels good for you. And then let your left hand come to the inside of your left thigh and let your right arm hang heavy. On an inhale, swing it up like you're painting the sky, fill the lungs. And on the exhale, lower it back down. We'll just do 2 more of these little flowy twists in chair pose here. Moving with your breath. And then taking it to the other side when you're ready, letting the right hand come to the inside of the right thigh, and then moving with your breath. These cues are really just signposts for your own practice. So if something feels right, stick with it. If you don't like something, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. It's really your own practice. And then when you're ready, just find that chair pose. Really kind of hold it. Find some burn. Give yourself 3 rounds of breath here. Sink a little lower, chest a little higher. And then let it all go. Nice forward fold. You can kind of rock the hips side to side. And then from this forward fold, let your left hand plant down to the mat. Your left knee can bend to allow you to do so. And then your right arm, reach it up towards the sky. Try to straighten that right leg the best you can. Noticing how that feels for the right hip. One more breath. And then taking it towards the other side, right hand down, right knee can bend as much as it needs to. And then let that left hand reach up towards the sky, left leg straightened. Noticing how that feels for the left hip. And then letting it all go, forward fold. Exhale. On the inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands can plant, feet can step or hop back. Take a nice inhale, fill the lungs. Exhale lowers you down to the mat. And then inhale, take a nice baby cobra or an up dog, some nice heart opener here. Take your time, and then with a nice exhale, press the hips up and back. Nice resetting here. And then let your right leg reach up on an inhale. Exhale, curl the knee into the chest. Inhale, send it back up. Exhale, curl the knee into the chest, step it down. Find a little bit of a runner's lunge, but you can tap that left knee down. And then inhale, reach all the way up towards the sky. And on the exhale, you can bring your hands to your heart center. You might begin to twist a little bit over that right knee, maybe even hooking left elbow over right knee. Inhale, reach everything up again. Let everything go long. And then on the exhale, fold over that straightened front knee. A little bit of a hamstring stretch here. The forehead might even tap down to the shin. And then slowly finding your way into that runner's lunge again. You can lift the left knee up, let the right leg stamp back, and then run it through a vinyasa. You might keep the right leg lifted as you lower down to the mat. Exhale. Inhale, heart bursts open, baby cobra or up dog. And then exhale, find your way back to down dog. Take your time, couple of resetting breaths here. And then we'll take it to the other side. Left leg, let it go long. Inhale. On the exhale, pull the left knee into your chest. And then send it back up. Inhale. Exhale. Left knee can stamp down. Left foot can step down. The right knee can come down. And then take your time. Take up a lot of space. Fill the lungs. Inhale. And then exhale. Hands to heart center. The right elbow can hook over the left knee. Little mini twist here. Noticing how that feels for the hips. And then let everything go long. Inhale. And then exhale, begin to straighten that left knee. Begin to fold over it, little half split. Awesome. And then take your time to come back into that runner's lunge. You can lift the right knee up, stamp the left leg back, and then run it through a vinyasa. Rinse it all off. Exhale lowers you down. Inhale, heart bursts open. And then exhale, down dog. This time, let your right leg reach up on an inhale. Exhale, step it through and step it down. Runner's lunge. And this way, lift all the way up, standing. Same thing, fill the lungs. Exhale, hands to heart center, and then begin to twist over that right knee. Should feel a little bit more tension in the right glutes now that that's keeping you up. If you need to tap the left knee down at any point, feel free. If not, inhale, fill the lungs, straighten everything back out. And this time, exhale, fold over that straightened front leg. You might like to let the left heel kind of drop down, whatever's comfortable for you here, to help you get into that hamstring. And then you'll even begin to tip into that right leg, picking the left leg back behind you. Little standing split here. Although I don't know anybody who actually hits a split in this, so we're all aiming for it, right? You could even begin to keep your hands maybe towards your ankle for a little bit of strengthening here. And then slowly lowering that left leg down. You can stamp the right leg back. You can either take a little vinyasa, rinse this all off, or you can just skip those and meet in down dog. Whatever feels good for you. And then when you're ready from your down dog, we'll take it to the other side, letting the left leg go long. On the exhale, coming through, stamping down, and then you can lift all the way up for a little runner's lunge. Fill the lungs, inhale. On the exhale, hands to heart center, you can twist over that left knee. Notice your breath. And take your time, fill everything back up, and then straighten that left leg, fold over it. Noticing how that feels for the back of the thigh, the shins, the glutes. And then begin to shift all your weight into that left leg, sending that right leg up. Your hands can be on the mat. You might even begin to try to kind of float them, maybe even bring them to your ankle for a little bit of support. One long breath here. And then slowly let that right leg tap down. The left leg can reach back behind you. You can either just meet in down dog, or you might shift through a vinyasa, moving with your breath. Take your time. There's no rush to get anywhere. Those postures that feel best, take your time in them. It's ultimately your practice. Take a nice inhale. Bend the knees. Walk or float to the top of your mat. Let your feet take up a lot of space, walking to the sides of the mat here. Heels out, toes in. And then begin to sink down to your degree of comfort for a yogi squat. You might bring your hands to heart center and kind of use your elbows to press your knees away. And then once you've found a nice strong base, begin to drive through the heels and pick yourself all the way up to stand. You can squeeze at the top. And then we'll just take a couple of squats like this. You can adjust the feet as you need. You might even turn sideways to kind of make it more of a sumo squat, so you can take up a lot of space. But begin to just move through some squats. You don't have to go all the way deep into a yogi squat. You might even just go halfway down, so your thighs are parallel to the ground, and then back up. See if you can incorporate your breath into these movements, however that works for you. Maybe it's an inhale at the bottom, and then an exhale, drive through and stand. Moving nice and slow, give yourself 2 more rounds of whatever you're doing. And then whenever you're ready, we'll land back in that yogi squat. Let your hands stamp down. Your feet can walk back for your plank, and then your down dog. Let your right leg reach up on an inhale. On the exhale, curl it underneath your body. Stamp it down. Find your warrior 2 position here, letting your left heel drop down and in, noticing the alignment of your feet. From the heel of your front foot to the arch of your back foot should be one straight line. Shrug your shoulders up, let them go. Find a nice neutral spine, strong core. You can circle out the wrists a little bit here. Really energetically pull the mat away from each other. Connect with your breath once again. And then on your next inhale, flip the front palm, reverse your warrior. Let your left hand kind of snake down the left thigh. You could even let it tap your low back. And then begin to shift forward, finding your warrior 2 again. This time coming into side angle, letting your right forearm come to the inside of your right thigh. And then beginning to shift back and forth from reversing your warrior inhale to a side angle on the exhale. Again, if you're letting your breath control your movements, then everyone's will look different, because some of us are taking really long, slow, heavy breaths, and some of us are taking faster, more shallow breaths. See if you can establish that mind-body breath connection right here. One more round of breath. And the next time you're in that side angle, let your right hand find your right shin and just straighten that front right leg, little triangle here. Left hand reaching up towards the sky, take up a lot of room. Fingers can spread. You might even float that right hand. Use your abs to keep you lifted. One long breath here. Awesome. And then find your warrior 2 once again. Even everything out. You can circle, sweep the hands to frame that right foot. Right foot stems back. Inhale. On the exhale, shift forward, lower down to the mat. Inhale, heart bursts open, baby cobra or up dog. Little chest and throat opener. And then exhale, find your way into down dog. We'll do the other side when you feel ready. Inhale, send the left leg up towards the sky. And then exhale, curl it underneath the body, stamping down. You can find your time to come into a nice warrior 2, letting the right heel stamp down, setting up any alignment, noticing the core, the abs. You don't want to be too arched or too curled. Nice strong torso. Knees stacked over ankle. Shrug the shoulders up, let it go. Notice your breath. And then when you feel ready, inhale, flip that front palm, reverse your warrior. Give yourself a minute here, really feel that side opening. And then next time you shift forward, find that side angle, letting the right hand reach up towards the sky, taking up a lot of room. And then beginning to flow back and forth at your own pace, your own depth. Letting the soundtrack to your yoga practice be your breath. Awesome. One more round of whatever you're doing, whatever flow you found yourself in. Next time you take that exhale and you're at a side angle, take a moment, pause, just straighten that left leg, find a triangle. You might feel a little crack in that left hip. or a big crack. And then if you want, your left hand can begin to reach a little bit. Use those abs to keep you lifted. And then find your way back into a warrior two. Even everything out. You can circle those hands down, frame the left foot, and then stepping it back for a little vinyasa, running it through. Giving yourself plenty of time. Any time you need to find child's pose or just lay with your breath for a little bit, that is more than welcome. Let your right leg swoop up on the inhale. On the exhale, bring it underneath your body and stamp it down. Find a little bit of a high lunge here. From this lunge position, bring your hands to your sides, almost like you're holding like a little bit of weight. Just kind of keep everything tight. Begin to shift into this right leg, and then send your left leg back behind you, just a little kick, and then land back down. Then you can step your feet back towards the back of your mat. So ultimately what we're doing is a lunge, right leg, with a glute kick back, left leg. You'll land it, lunge, and step back. So from the back of your mat, it's right leg stepping forward, lunging down, shifting your way into that right leg, finding a little bit of a glute kick back with that left leg, lowering down, lunging, and then stepping back. We'll just do 2 more rounds. If you want to move faster or slower or skip a certain part, you're more than welcome to. And then 1 last round. It's a step forward, a lunge, a kick back with that left glute, 1 more lunge, and then that's it. We'll take it to the other side when you feel ready. Set up for a moment with a high lunge. Just really feel that left leg. Let it kind of activate. And then begin to shift into the left leg. Glute kick back. Lowering it down. Lunging. And then stepping to the back. Each side is a little different. You might notice little subtle differences on each side. I do these at home with weights, so I'm used to having my hands in towards my chest with some dumbbells. So that's definitely an option if you like these for your own practice. But if not, your hands can just be on your hips. Wherever you are, 1 more round of a lunge, a kick back, a lunge, and a land. Awesome. And then inhale, fill your lungs. Exhale, let your hands come to your sides. Let your eyes close here. Just find Tadasana or mountain pose. Catch your breath. All 4 corners of the feet on the mat. Strong core. Squeeze your glutes. Chest is proud. Imagine I'm pulling up a string from the base of your spine out through the crown of your head. Arguably just as hard of work as what we were just doing before this. Awesome. And then inhale, fill your lungs, reach up, stretch up, and exhale, take a nice forward fold. Let it all go. Inhale, find a halfway lift, long spine. Hands can plant, feet step back, final plank. Exhale, lowers you down to the mat. Inhale, heart bursts open, either baby cobra or up dog. And then find your way into a downward dog whenever you feel ready. Just checking the time here. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. All right, and then inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, walk or float to the top of your mat. Find a little bit of a chair pose. Arms sweep up like we did in the beginning. This time let your left forearm come to the inside of the left thigh. Right arm can sweep up just like we did. Just hold it this time. Nice static chair twist. Let your right arm reach down, center, stabilize. Let both of your hands come to the top of your left thigh. Begin to pour all of your weight into that left leg. And then slowly begin to send that right leg back behind you for Warrior 3 variation. Noticing the shaky, those tiny little muscles in the ankles and feet getting stronger here. And slowly with control letting that right leg tap down to the mat. And then let your right heel drop in, opening up towards the mirror side of the room. Toes out, heels in, finding a little bit of a goddess. We already did squats today. If that was something you liked and you want to incorporate more, this is a really good opportunity to begin pressing in and out. But if you like to just hold goddess, it is super productive to do so. So let your alignment be first. Notice your knees stacked over your ankles. Notice your hips. Notice your pelvis tucked underneath. Notice the proud chest. You might find maybe a mudra with the hands. Maybe they're just in front of your heart. And let the fire and the heat build. Awesome. And then begin to set up for Ardo Chandrasana or half moon pose on the right leg. So facing towards the back of the studio, let your toes point towards the back of your mat. Begin to shift your weight into your right leg as you send your left limbs up towards the sky. Right hand can plant anywhere 6 to 9 inches in front of your foot. If you have a block or a bolster, you might want to use that. Try not to pour too much weight into that right hand. See if you can kind of tent those fingers a little bit. And if you come out, that is awesome. That is yoga. Wherever you are, one more full breath here. And then with control, letting that left foot tap down. Find your Warrior 2 facing the front of the mat. Circle the hands down, frame that left foot, and then send the left foot back behind you. Keeping a 3-legged dog here with that left leg lifted, you can bend the knee and dial the hip open. You might even flip your dog if that's in your practice. When you feel ready, let that left knee come back in, center, stabilize, and just plant it down. Take a resetting breath here. Inhale, fill the lungs. Exhale, knees bend, walk or float to the top of your mat. Hang in a nice little forward fold, let something go. And then begin to find that chair pose, this time with the right forearm and the inside of the right thigh. Left arm flowing up towards the sky. Inhale. Little Utkatasana chair twist here. And then begin to center everything, stabilize, pour the weight into the right foot as you provide some support for yourself on your right thigh. The left leg can slowly begin to get sent out behind you for Warrior 3 variation. If you like to send your hands all the way out, you might do so. Noticing that shaking. And then slowly, when you're ready, letting that left foot tap down. This time, the left heel can drop in, facing the bar side of the studio or the left side of the room at home. Let your hands come to your hips and then just nice and slow, using your abs, forward fold here. Nice wide-legged forward fold. Make any adjustments that feel good for you. Maybe walking the feet out a little wider or closer together. Any types of blocks, straps, anything here that feels best for you. Maybe you like that side to side, walking of the hands from one foot to another. Maybe it's just that static hold that your body is calling for. The only ask here of you is to notice your breath. The breath that moments ago was shaking and struggling, still here. Let it get a little longer, a little slower. Give yourself 5 more rounds of conscious breath here. You can even count if you need to. When you feel ready, bring your hands back up to your hips. Use your core to lift you up nice and slow and controlled, all the way up to standing. And then we'll set up for Ardo Chandrasana on the left leg, half moon pose facing the back of the mat or the studio. And then begin to let your left hand find somewhere in front of your left foot to land as your right leg and right arm reach up towards the sky. Little micro bend in that left knee just to protect the left knee. Really appreciate the twist here. We've done a lot of twists. This is an opportunity to really feel that chest open. We've warmed up the glutes. We've warmed up the lower leg muscles. You're ready for this kind of peak posture. So enjoy it. Just thrive in it. And then nice and slow, let that right leg tap down. You can find that warrior 2 facing the front of the room. And then circle, sweep the hands, frame the foot. Step the right leg back for a 3-legged dog with that right leg lifted. Bend the right knee, dial the hip open. You might even flip your dog if you like doing that. If not, begin to center, stabilize that right leg, and then just let it tap down. Couple resetting breaths in down dog here. Inhale, shift forward into your plank. Notice the strength of this posture. Notice your glutes engaged. Imagine my hand is in between your shoulder blades and you're pushing it away. Pull the navel up and in. Put all 10 fingers down into the mat like you're palming a basketball. Notice your breath. Three more breaths here. Awesome. Let the knees tap down. You can either just hang out here in table, or you might even find a child's pose. Either way, find some way to let the wrists open up a little bit. Maybe it's shaking them out. Maybe you're kind of flipping them to one side and then the other. Opportunity to catch your breath, open up the wrists, however that looks for you. And then when you're ready, begin to set up that plank pose once again. If it feels better on your elbows for your wrists, maybe you'll do that instead. I promise I'm counting. All you have to do is imagine your mindset here. How do you react in the face of adversity? If I'm telling you I'm counting, you know your knees can tap down at any point. So now it's just between you versus you. 3, 2, 1. Let the knees tap down. Awesome. Let yourself come on to your mat on your belly. Find a little bit of a Sphinx pose here. Elbows underneath shoulders. Your gaze can be up. Really nice opportunity to stretch the abdomen here that we just worked so hard. And then let yourself lower all the way down to the mat. Fingertips in line with the tops of the shoulders. Shoulders down and away from the ears, elbows squeezed in. Shoelace sides of the feet engaged into the mat, kneecaps lift, glutes are squeezing. And then begin to lift the chest and the head up a little bit. Opportunity for baby cobra here. You might even kind of tent those fingers, float them a little bit. 3, 2, 1. And then lower all the way down to your mat. This time, let yourself take pretty much the same alignment, but let your hands reach towards the back of the studio, palms facing down. Take an inhale and begin to lift everything. Your hands, your feet might even lift, squeezing the glutes. Try to keep your spine nice and long, your gaze just a couple inches in front of you. 3, 2, 1. And then lower all the way down. Catching your breath. You've done baby cobra. You've done locust. If you like them and you want another round, absolutely go for it. If you want to try bow and you like to bend the knees and grab a hold of the outsides of the feet, maybe the ankles, you'll take a big inhale, and whatever posture you're in, find yourself reaching up towards the sky. If you're in bow, kicking back into those feet, letting the chest really be proud. Fill the lungs. This is the last of these postures. You've got 5, 3, 1. Awesome. Lower all the way down. Let yourself make a pillow for your forearm, or for your forehead with your left forearm. Reach back with your right hand to grab the right ankle. Little quad stretch here. Hug the thighs in together to protect the knees. See if you can follow 5 rounds of conscious breath here. And then slowly taking it towards the other side when you feel ready. Pillow for your forehead with your right forearm. Reaching back, bending the left knee, grabbing the left ankle or foot somewhere. Squeezing those thighs together. And then just surrendering, noticing your breath. letting gravity do the work. Awesome. Slowly release the left leg long. Take your time to press up through your tabletop position. Take your time getting there. Once you're there, let yourself take any authentic movements, any arches, any curls, any hip circles. You know your body best. Maybe it's one last child's pose you really want to find. Just giving yourself that opportunity here, that cautious exploration of your body. It's been warmed up, it's been strengthened, and now this is where the real kind of magic occurs. So let your intuition lead you. Maybe you take one more child's pose. And then slowly find your way onto your seat, facing the back of the studio. I'll face sideways for camera purposes, but let your legs go long out in front of you. Find a nice long spine, fill the lungs, inhale. And then on the exhale, just begin to hinge at the hips, little forward fold. Let the neck really hang heavy here. More than ever, we're so connected to our technology. All this extra weight on these neck muscles, looking at the phones and screens all day. So really let your neck be heavy here. Let it go. The work is not yet done. Just because we're not moving through postures so fast, we still have to focus on the breath. It's a lot of benefits from these poses that are available to us when we take them seriously. Notice if the breath has become a little bit more constricted. You might feel the belly kind of pressing into the thighs as you inhale. Let every exhale bring you a little closer to the ground. Awesome. And then slowly make your way out of the forward fold, nice and slow. And then find your way all the way onto your back. Bend both knees. Bring the right knee into your chest. Give it a little squeeze. And then taking it to the other side, giving the left leg a little squeeze here. Next time both of your feet are planted down, your knees are bent, let your arms reach out long to the side, and then let your knees drop to the left. You might even look over that right shoulder. Play with any variations of this posture that feel good to you. I really like to straighten my top right leg. Some people even like to kind of interlace the legs. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just make sure your shoulders are grounded, both of them. Fill the lungs and let it go. Once again, in these twisted postures, sometimes we lose the breath or it becomes a little bit more shallow or hard to find. So give yourself that mental space to reconnect with your breath. The autonomic nervous system knows how to heal the body better than our conscious minds do. So all we really have to do is surrender to it. And the best way of doing so is by being with the breath. Long, slow, controlled, deep breaths. Your eyes might even close at this point. One more round of breath on this side. And then slowly make your way back up towards center, bringing the knees in. You might even give them a little hug in the center before letting them drop to the opposite side, incorporating the neck into the twist as well, looking to over the left shoulder. And then any variations that felt good, maybe you want to try them on this side, noticing any subtle differences side to side. And then once again, just noticing your breath. Another full round of breath here. And slowly make your way back towards center. When you're at the center, let both of your heels reach towards the sky. Hands behind the thighs, toes pointing towards shin. One last little hamstring stretch here. You might even bend the knees and grab the toes and find a little happy baby before finally letting your body just go long, setting up for your final shavasana. Any other motions that might feel good before you get there, you are more than welcome to take. No rush. And when the body feels ready for stillness, let the toes kind of splay open, take up a lot of space. Just fully surrender. Notice your breath again. As you follow your breath and you reflect on the differences that you noticed in your breath throughout your practice today, I'd like you to consider these words from Jay Shetty's book, Think Like a Monk. He says, I vividly remember my first day of monk school. I had just shaved my head, but I wasn't wearing robes yet, and I still looked like I was from London. I noticed a child monk. He couldn't have been more than 10 years old, teaching a group of 5-year-olds. He had a great aura about him, the poise and confidence of an adult. "What are you doing?" I asked. "We just taught their first class ever," he said, then asked me, "What did you learn your first day of school?" I said, "I learned alphabet and numbers. What did they learn?" The monk said, "The first thing we teach them is how to breathe." "Why?" I asked. "Because the only thing that stays with you from the moment you're born until the moment you die is your breath. All your friends, your family, the country you live in, all of that can change. The one thing that stays with you is your breath." This 10-year-old monk added, "When you get stressed, what changes? Your breath. When you get angry, what changes? Your breath. We experience every emotion with the change of the breath. When you learn to navigate and manage your breath, you can navigate any situation in your life." Already I was being taught the most important lesson, to focus on the root of things, not the leaf of the tree or the symptoms of the problem. And I was learning, through direct observation, that anybody can be a monk, even if they're only 5 or 10 years old.